What's up, replay viewers? How you doing? Let me put you in this little tripod here, put a lens on you. So someone asked me today in my earlier broadcast, do you still do the tips for Periscope? And I was like, yeah, but then when I thought about it, I haven't actually done a show like that for a while. So I thought I would come on tonight. I'm still doing the tech show every day, so if you're not yet following me, make sure you follow for that. I'll tell you more about that later on in the show. Hey, Review the Beast, how are you? Or the best, sorry, Review the Beast. Should know that by now. Jon Snow's in the house as well. If there's any fans out there. So yeah, I got asked in, I think it was today's broadcast, maybe yesterday's, am I still doing top tips for Periscope? And I've taken a little break from it, but I want to keep doing it because I realize there's lots of new people joining Periscope every day. And, you know, I, over the last year, have managed to build up a following of, we just hit 250,000 about a week or two ago. And so I like to pass on my tricks of the trade or anything that I've learned over the last year to help you guys too. So another 3 top tips coming back at you today for how to grow your following on this. Thank you, AJ. Yeah, I never in a million years thought I would hit a number like that, 250,000 people. But you guys are awesome. And for some reason, you keep coming back every day. How is everybody? Carl, you're good? You're so cool. Thank you very much, Benny. Barry, Tennessee Drones, thank you for sharing. No worries. Let's get on with the first one, which is, by the way, before I start, is there anyone new to Periscope here? If you are pretty much new, maybe this is the first time that you've watched me on Periscope, type the number 1 now or say new now. You've just followed me, Joe. Thank you very much. Because this broadcast is going to be super useful for those of you that are new. AJ, you're a liar. You're not new. But Frozen's new. So is Carter. What a name. Willy Wank. Love it. Thank you for PPC. Yeah, I never thought I would hit a number like 250,000, but apparently 250,000 of you guys want to watch me every day. So that's amazing, and I love doing what I do, and I love sharing it with you guys. So number 1 is a lot of people forget, or they just kind of, when they join Periscope, there's a bio. There's a whole section, there's a whole profile about you where you come on onto Periscope and people can discover you, and that bio has a beautiful, I'm sure, picture of you. It has an actual, like, within the profile, a bio, like a paragraph about you, and it has all your stats to do with how many broadcasts you've done, how many followers you've got, your following, and everything like that. So the first bit of advice is, number 1, don't neglect that bio. It's super useful. It's the place that people actually go to right now to follow you and find out about you. So a couple of tips for your bio. Number 1, obviously make sure you have a good photo on there. When people click on your profile, on that profile page, they want to see what you look like, and you know, having a good photo on there can help. But most importantly, you want to make that profile, your profile, discoverable. And the way to do that is that little bit of 3-line text. It's basically a bio, a biography about you, and you can write anything you want in there. You can even put links in there to your website if you want. Just put HTTP at the beginning of the link and it will turn it into a clickable link. But the most important thing is that little bit of text, that bio, is searchable on Periscope, and a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think that you can search for someone on Periscope using their name. So if you wanted to search for me, you just search Alexpettitt. You can search using their username. So if you wanted to search for me, it would be @Alexpettitt, and I would come up both times. But little do not many people know even, that if you were to search something like social media, tech, and London, if you were to put those in the search terms on Periscope, I would be the first thing that shows up, because those 3 words, those keywords, are all in my Periscope bio. And it's the same for you. So, you know, we've got James here, and I know James, he is a radio host. So somewhere in his bio should be hosting radio, and then James, I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name of the radio station, but I know you are a radio host. So he should have those keywords, like he's a radio host, he's from the UK, and he hosts, and there we go, Any1 FM. And that makes him, then anyone that wants to search for, I wonder who works for Any1 FM, they can just type that in Periscope and automatically find James, who is a host. It's the same for you whether you're a hairdresser living in Brazil, or you're a football player. I should have said football player from Brazil, shouldn't I? Or you know, whatever. Use keywords in your bio, which makes you more discoverable and more searchable on the app. That is the first tip. How do you get more follows? Money. Have you been listening? Where have you been? We've just been talking about this. I've only given 1 tip away so far. By the way, guys, thank you so much for those that are new who are following. if you are new and you haven't yet followed, swipe up on Android, swipe left to right on iOS, click on my name, and then click the follow button. Because what I do here on Periscope is I give you daily tech news and social media news every single day. If you want to go back and watch some of the replays, you can check out what that show's like. It's called Today's Tech News. Every day we come live on Periscope, 2 p.m. in the UK, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. And also I do stuff like this, giving you top tips about how to use Periscope. So lots of content for you guys every single day, so make sure you're following. And big thank you to everyone that's sharing as well. Just seen Arlene invite your followers. Thank you. Someone said, hell, I'm not paying for followers. No, Elizabeth, absolutely not. There's absolutely no point in buying bots that kind of appear as followers. I know there's some web services out there where you can buy followers on Twitter or on Periscope, on Instagram. It's pointless. They do nothing. Especially on Periscope, they don't even come into the broadcast and view. They're just sitting ducks that do nothing. So why not spend the time and not the money that you would have spent on buying followers in actually learning how to generate more followers organically? That's my advice anyway. And I'm helping you do that with another top tip. So if you haven't shared yet, make sure you share out the broadcast. But let's move on to the second one. You're only searchable in Periscope. That's a good question. Can people find you on, let's say, Twitter or find you on Facebook? My tip for that, I think it was Joe that asked that question, is when you join Periscope, make sure you go onto Twitter and put like the link of your Periscope channel in your Twitter bio. Do the same on Facebook. Put out a couple of tweets, Facebook posts, LinkedIn posts if you're on that, or Instagram posts saying, hey, I've just joined Periscope. Here's where you can find me, and give that address, which is periscope.tv. Get a pen and paper if you don't know this link, this profile URL. It's a link that drives people directly to your profile on Periscope. And the link is periscope.tv. This is really good for anyone that's new. Periscope.tv / your username. Okay, so if you were going to visit me on Periscope, or you're on your computer and you wanted to visit my Periscope profile, it would be periscope.tv / Alexpettitt. How do you make, that's a great question, let me scroll back one sec. How do you make your Periscopes? I think it was interesting from Mr. Carter. I'll talk about topics that you can scope about in just a second, guys. So yeah, periscope.tv / username. Thank you for putting that in the chat. Is it Melissin? I think that's how you say it. Yeah. Always good tips. Thank you very much, Deb. Does that work in every country? Yes, it was a global link. So periscope.tv / your username. And whenever someone clicks on that, if they're on mobile, it will open the app to your profile most of the time. If they're on the web, it will take you to a web page that looks similar to this. Looks like this. This is my profile. And if I just focus there, you can see that's my last. In fact, if I refresh, watch this, we're about to get Scope Somnia. I'll refresh that link and you should be able to see that we're live now. There we go. There, that's us live now. So people can watch on the web as well. And again, that link is periscope.tv / your username. So mine is Alexpettitt. Now, what does that mean? It means you can go on all the social networks that you've already got loads of, I'm sure, followers on, and you can tell them where they can find you now on Periscope. So make sure you get that link out there. Make sure you direct people to follow you using that link. Hey, Sanya, how are you? It's so cool to show people it refreshed. Yeah, I know, Deb. When you refresh the page and then you're live and like it's insomnia, it's cool. Can you track analytics for your profile page? You know what some people do, which is interesting? You can't see how many people are like hitting your Periscope profile every day or anything like that. But what you can do is you can. So I have my website, which is alex.live, and if you were to go on your computer to alex.live right now, what it does is it does a redirect and takes you to periscope.tv / Alexpettitt. But I'm tracking how many visits or how many times it's redirecting. So from that, I can see how many times people are clicking on that link and going to my profile. Hope that makes sense. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Bonjour, Ivan. Yeah, Deb, the website is alex.live. I've got a super easy web address. If you guys are new and wondering what I'm doing right here on Periscope right now, maybe I should do a very quick intro into me. My name is Alexpettitt. I joined Periscope the day it came out. I was at Twitter the day that Periscope came out, and I've been broadcasting ever since, giving you guys tips and tricks about how to use the app, telling my story about how I've built over quarter of a million followers in the 17 months now I think that Periscope has been alive. And I'm sharing the tips that I used to do that with you guys so that you can do the same, plus giving you daily tech news. So if you want to come and join my shows in the future, swipe up on Android, swipe left to right on iOS, click my name and click the follow button. And big thanks to Pammy for sharing out on Twitter. If you guys want to share as well, just click on the little Perry person down in that corner right there, then click share, and you can invite on Twitter, you can invite on Facebook, and of course on Periscope as well. Any questions so far, guys? If not, I'm going to move on to the second one. I wish I could see that first broadcast. I'll try and dig it out one day. Thank you, Laura, for sharing. Ethan as well, thank you for inviting your followers, dude. Thank you. Oh, I missed who that was, sorry. There we go. Anoki Bombshell, cool name. I learnt the phrase from you. Swipe up on Android, swipe left to right on iPhone. Yeah, it's Vino. It's kind of stuck there now. You're new, Joe? Well, thank you very much for following. I know you said at the beginning you followed. Thank you. Hey, Bernard, how are you? What about fullscope.tv, says Paddy? That is obviously to do with analytics of your broadcast. I think they made an announcement recently saying that they're going to have to get rid of the free version of Fullscope and they'll have to charge. Of course, server costs are a lot, so it is still an option if you do want to pay for it, but the advice that I've always given from day one is any third party that is providing statistics cannot guarantee that they are 100% correct right now, because Periscope has no, let's say, doorway allowing developers to develop on top of their platform. I won't get too technical, but yeah. What was that? Fullscope is Fullscope.tv is a analytics software for Periscope, a third-party analytics software. What computer should I get? We can talk about that towards the end. That's a really good question. Let me just right now move on to my second tip for gaining Periscope followers, which is, and it might seem simple. It might seem so simple, but little people do it. Okay, as a broadcaster. Okay, we love talking. As a broadcaster, I love talking to you guys. And the people that I see in my broadcast regularly, and the people that I see in my broadcast talking to me regularly and talking to other people regularly, I get to know you guys pretty well. You know, I know a lot of you really well when we talk off of Periscope as well. And so you become friends. But more importantly is I follow a lot of people that I see who are really active in my chat. So flipping that around to you guys, which is how can you get followers without even doing a broadcast on Periscope? Be active on the platform. Go into lots of broadcasts. Give people hearts. Comment. Comment to the broadcaster. Comment to other viewers. And when you start having these conversations, guys, you'll find that people just end up tapping on you, visiting your profile to find out more about you, and following you. I can't tell you how many times as a broadcaster I do that to people in the chat, and I'm like, oh, you look interesting. Tap on the profile, read the first few lines about the bio about you, and then I end up following you. Same as when I'm in other people's broadcasts and someone makes like a really good comment, I'll tap, find out a little bit about them, and I'll follow them. That's how I got most of my followers, says Ethan. What if I don't like commenting? Maybe it's not for you. Giving hearts as well. The broadcaster can see how many hearts the viewers gave, and at the end of the broadcast, it shows you some of the numbers, and we can tap on your name there. If you've given me 1,000 hearts, you know, I might then be like, oh, this person really likes my content. I'll follow them so I get to watch their content. You're right though. Thank you very much, JC. I have to use my phone to know what day it is. Always most informative scopes. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. So Make Good has kind of summed up what we've talked about so far. Thank you for doing that. I love that you guys talk to each other in here. This is what I mean. This is the Periscope community at its best. You guys are the Periscope community at its best. So yeah, engage. That top tip number 2 is you can gain followers on Periscope even if you're too shy to hit the go live button on Periscope. Just be active on the platform and you can still build a following. Fair enough, it's probably not going to be as fast as if you were daily broadcasting, and we'll come on to that in my third tip. But you can still do it even if you don't want to Periscope. What do you do with trolls? Deb, you know what? I'm going to write that down. I'm going to tell you about my troll policy. Trolls. We're going to talk about that after I've given the last tip. Thank you, Deb. We will definitely talk about that. You're shy, Tennessee Drones. You are the least shy person I know, Stoney. Guys, if you haven't already shared and you've enjoyed this Periscope so far, please think about sharing. Just swipe up on Android, swipe left to right on iOS, click on the share button, and then click, you can share it out on Periscope, on Twitter, and on Facebook too. It's completely up to you. And if you are new and haven't yet followed, feel free to follow as well. You do the same swiping depending on what device you're on, and then just hit my name and then hit the follow button. I like your drone stuff. Thank you very much. I love getting the drone up in the air. It's currently on charge and we'll be back ready for more droning tomorrow. Will you recap? Just got here. Absolutely, I will. Let me just give the third tip and then I'll recap all three, and then I'll be answering a question about drones. Thank you very much, Veronica, for sharing. Also, Mateus as well. I hope I said that right. Thank you. Thank you for following me, Tommy. You legend. How do you do interviews on Periscope? Another good question. Frozen. Interviews. I'm writing these down. We'll cover them at the end. That's from Frozen. If you have any good questions, pop them in the chat. If I miss them, guys, save them to the end. Caleb Maddox is here, everybody. If you don't follow Caleb, he blows me out the water. He's like, Caleb, how old are you now? Are you 13 or 14 or maybe even 15 since I last saw you? I'm not too sure, but the guy is like, I don't like to refer to him as like kid billionaire, but I think that's the label that he gets labeled with the most. He's 14 still? Okay. Super Caleb. The guy is maybe 14, but is doing more than most 30 or 40-year-olds are doing. He's an awesome guy. There he is in the chat. Make sure you follow him, Caleb Maddox. So, and we will catch up soon. I'm definitely coming to America and we'll have to catch up soon. Let's do final tip, and then I'll answer some of those questions that you guys had coming in, which is, just to recap, like we said, we talked about make sure that your Periscope profile is discoverable and searchable by using keywords in your bio. We just talked about making sure even if you're too shy to broadcast on Periscope, you can still gain viewers by going into other people's Periscopes and being active, commenting loads, hearting loads, making conversations with other viewers, even if you're not making a conversation with the broadcaster. And the final thing is, if you do pluck up the courage to go live on Periscope, and I realize it takes a lot to do that, and sometimes you think, what do I want to talk about, etc., etc. There's loads of things that you have to prepare before, in some cases, before going live. My biggest advice that I can give for building a following is broadcast often. Be consistent, okay? Consistency is kind of key on this platform because people get to know you and they get to expect. I have people tweeting me every day as it gets closer and closer to 2 o'clock. People saying, "Oh, only half an hour till Alex's today's tech news," and people like that. And that's because I've built up over time. People just know that I go live at 2 o'clock in the UK, wherever that is around the world for them, with a daily tech show, and they know to expect that every day. Now, I'm not saying you have to do a daily show, guys, especially if you're just starting out. But be consistent, and basically the advice I'm giving is don't do 1 or 2 broadcasts and just give up, because you won't get anywhere. You won't build a following. You have to go through the hard times. There will be times where there's only like 3 or 4 people in your broadcast, but do it. It's worth it. You end up solid advice. Thank you very much, kid. You end up slowly, that train goes and that snowball rolls and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. My one caveat with that, though, and I have to be honest, is content is always key. Please don't go live every day just for the sake of going live every day. When you think about it, you have nothing to talk about. If you sit there and think, I don't know what to broadcast about today, I'm not really in the mood, but Alex said I have to go live every day to build followers. I'm not saying that at all. Honest to God, I'm not saying that at all, because there still has to be content there that people want to watch and will want to follow you for. You have to build a reputation of quality content, rather than just someone who goes live every day for the sake of going live every day. I hope that didn't sound like a bit of a rant. It was just like personal advice. Content is always key. Yes! Some people will get bored. Exactly. And some people will get bored with you. And then move on to other people. And that's fine. Facebook dual video, did they release that last Monday? Do you know what? It's been really weird. It's almost been like a super slow release. Some verified users have it, others don't. All right. Let me answer those 2 questions. We had Deb ask, Alex, how do you handle trolls on Periscope? I'm going to give my personal advice about how I handle trolls and why you don't see many trolls in my broadcast because of the way that I handled them in the early days. There used to be loads of trolls, and there still are, but I don't get many in here. The honest answer is I have an absolute zero tolerance policy. If you don't know what a troll is, guys, a troll is someone who has the sole intent of coming into your broadcast to derail you and to cause an argument or some sort of upset You know, they're not there for the content, they're not there for you, they are simply there to cause a ruckus. And so I have a zero tolerance policy for trolls, and what that basically means is I don't give them a chance and be like, oh, please don't put that in my chat. You know, I just, as soon as I see a comment, I do two things. Number one, I see the comment, I do not acknowledge the comment. I simply carry on talking as I'm doing to you now, but out of the corner of my eye, I'm tapping on that person and I'm clicking block. What does that do? Number one, it gets that person out of there. They didn't get the kick that they wanted, that kind of adrenaline shot of, I've derailed him and he's all screwed up for 20 seconds. And they didn't get to see that because it didn't happen. And the second thing it does, which is really good, is it acts as a complete deterrent for any other troll who's in the room. Because what they've just seen, they saw the comment come in, you know, they saw the comment be there, and they also saw me like not even bat an eyelid about the comment, and they saw straight after the comment was placed there, the broadcaster that put it there get blocked. And any other troll who's in there just instantly knows and sees, oh, well, I'm not going to get a rise out of this guy, I'll move on to someone else who I can get a rise out. And that's why now, after doing that for almost a year, I don't have many trolls in my broadcast at all. Exactly, Summer says don't engage with them. You love the glasses, thank you very much, Alexandra. So Deb, I hope that answers your question about trolls. Give it a go, let me know if you find that useful. I know some people have other ways of handling trolls in broadcasts, and they will try and almost rehabilitate them. They'll mention the comment and then they'll try and get the person to understand why that comment isn't nice. I just don't go for that option. It works for them, not so much for me. Thank you very much. Is it Baby Girl? I think that was who said that. Good advice on the trolls. Fantastic way to deal with them. Thank you very much, Vina. Second question that came in was from Frozen and said, how do you conduct interviews on Periscope? By the way, guys, if you have any questions that you want to put, you have and want to put to me, it's a Q&A now, so just feel free to ask them. I'll write them down as quick as I can. Also, if you want to share this broadcast out, if you found it useful and you think your friends will too, please do think about sharing it. Just swipe up on Android, swipe left to right on iOS, click share, and then you can invite on Periscope or share out to Twitter and Facebook. And if you have found it useful, make sure you follow me for more useful stuff as well, guys. Interviews. Frozen wants to know, how do you do interviews? Well, there's a couple of tips I can give for interviews with Periscope, which is, number one, I use a wide-angle lens. So if I was to take this off right now, boom! Right now, if I was to use my normal iPhone, it would be very hard to fit someone in to do an interview. But if you put a wide-angle lens on, I could quite easily have someone else there. I could also broadcast in landscape, guys. The second thing is, I personally don't, everyone's like, wow, holy cow, that's cool. I don't like doing interviews where I'm on one side of the camera and then I have to flip the camera to interview the other person. I would much rather do like I say and have the person here and almost look and talk to them. That's my personal preference. The reason I don't like flipping the camera is that can make Periscope buggy sometimes as well, so yeah. You need a wide-angle lens. They're awesome. You can get some super cheap ones, if I'm honest, on Amazon. If you want to see any of the kit that I broadcast with, just go to kit.alex.live. Would someone be able to write that in the chat so you guys can screenshot it? I'll tell you what, I'll write it on a post-it note as well, so you guys can screenshot. It's kit.alex.live. Is anyone else one of those types of people that has to speak what they're writing? kit.alex.live if you want to take a screenshot of that. If you just go into your web browser and type that in, kit.alex.live, then you'll get to my web page that has all of the accessories and kits that thank you for typing that in, guys, that I use to broadcast on Periscope and also to make YouTube videos and things like that. Can you tag certain words people use to be considered abusive? Can I don't know what you mean by tag, but like people, it depends on you as the broadcaster about what you find abusive. Periscope do have a list of words that they will issue you as a commenter a warning if you're putting them in. So if you were to type something like, I think even boobs is on there, B-O-O-B-S, before it lets you send the comment, I'm pretty sure it gives you a warning. Alex, do I go black on Periscope? I don't know what you mean, Joe. You have a question. Please put it in, JC. Put the question in. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. I will do my best to answer as many as possible. I know I've missed some of the comments, guys. Of course, you guys can tweet me if I missed your comment. You can put it in again. Feel free to put it in as many times as you like until I see it. But if I didn't see it on this broadcast, tweet it to me. I'll answer. And if you don't have my Twitter, you can take a screenshot of this whilst I look at your comments. You got a warning? There we go. How do you broadcast to 2 social medias at the same time? Good question. Right now, Periscope only allows you to broadcast on Periscope. So you can't broadcast, let's say, on the same content on Periscope and Facebook Live at the same time unless you have 2 devices. But what about an interview over the web? Okay, Frozen, good question. But we don't know where Periscope are going. Maybe that could change in the future. But right now, you would have to have another phone to broadcast, let's say, on Facebook or on YouTube. Interviewing over the web is slightly harder. Some people I've seen with a computer screen or a TV screen behind them and Skype, that's one way of doing it. What changes on Periscope? How do you make the algorithm work for you with all the changes? I guess you mean on things like the trending list. Is that what you're referring to? Being completely honest, guys, no one knows how the trending list works. Right now, Periscope are trying to improve it so it's surfacing better people and better content, but no one knows the magic sauce to make yourself appear in that list. Thoughts on featured scopes? I love them. I watch a lot of the featured scopes. They are, unlike the trending list, which is completely algorithm curated, the featured scopes is human-based. So there's an editorial team at Periscope headquarters in San Francisco who watch a number of Periscopes every day, and they see, like, they will feature the best ones. Thanks, man. Have you have Instagram and Facebook as well? Yes, Martin, I have Instagram. If you want to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, it's the same, Alexpettitt. 4 T's in my last name, Pettitt. If you want to follow me on Snapchat, it's Alexpettitt Snap. Someone took this username. I don't know who. When I find them, I'll kill them. I want it, but it's Alexpettitt Snap on Snapchat. Who are the primary audience on Scope? Good question. You guys are coming up with amazing questions tonight. The honest answer is you can almost carve out your own audience. There's such a diverse group of people on Periscope that there's a niche for everything on here. That's one thing I've found on Periscope. There's a huge niche right now, an audience for pottery and clay making and things like that. They're called the Potters of Periscope. Amazing group. There's gardening groups. There's societies all over Periscope. So no matter what you want to broadcast about, you can build this little niche group. And it's really nice. Alex, I need your help about iPhones. There's a malware. Yes. Jimmy, just make sure you are upgraded to the latest version of iOS 9.3.5. And that is for any other iPhone user here. If you have an iPhone and you haven't updated your software in the last few days, please go and do so. There is a huge security risk right now to iPhones that will allow anyone, well, not anyone, but allow a bit of software to be installed on your iPhone, and then that person to gain control of your iPhone, gain control of your calls, texts, any of the app data, things like Facebook messages, anything like that. So just make sure you update. If you want to find out more about that, watch my last broadcast. I did a full report. I can't spit some bars. No, I'm no good at that. You can fake your location, yes. Are there any Periscope developments you know of? If I know of them, I can't tell you them. Am I famous? No. What's the tips? Make sure you watch back this broadcast. There's loads of tips. Alright guys, I'm going to end it there. Like I say, if you're new and you haven't yet followed but you enjoyed the broadcast, please think about following me. Just click on the little Perry person down in this corner there. He's the person with the number by the side of him. Then click on my name and then click on the follow button, and I will see you in tomorrow's broadcast. Also, it's not too late to share this broadcast out if you found it useful. Maybe you've got friends who are new to Periscope and might find these tips useful. Like I say, I've been on Periscope since day one. Managed to, you guys, I have over 250,000 of you guys following me and watching, which is mind blown. So I just like to pass the tips on that I have learned over the last 17 months of how I gained 250,000 followers, and so you can do the same. Paddy, thank you for sharing. Dr. Angela as well. Kieran, Bob the Gambler. Hopefully not gambling too much, Bob. Do you know if Periscope is trying to fix notifications? Yes. I don't think there's any issues with notifications anymore, actually. I will see you guys tomorrow. 2 p.m. if you're in the UK, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and 6 a.m. Pacific for another today's tech news, which is the show I do every single day where I round up the tech news from the last 24 hours into a 15-minute show. And so you don't have to scroll through all the blogs. You can just walk into the bar that evening and know your stuff. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Let's set the thumbnail image. This is another tip. If you want to set a thumbnail image for your broadcast, you just hold whatever you want on the broadcast for the last 30 seconds. So this is going to be my thumbnail today. For about 30 seconds. And then you're good to go. So yeah, guys, if you are new, please follow. And I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for all the lovely comments as well, and all the hearts. And everyone who shared, you know I love you guys. Sharing is very much caring on Periscope, so I love it when you guys do share. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow, guys.